Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of I Cast Fireball, an actual play 5e D&D adventure where we go through the campaign Skulls and Shackles. My name be Thomas, your DM, and for this here adventure, under on the table we have
Lieutenant Ignis Halcon,
Maximus Shans,
Ataraxia Kalian,
and Buster Bilgewater.
Mancatcher Cove is where our adventurers be. In the cove here where it be icy blue right in the middle and turquoise around the outskirts, they be looking for treasure. Specifically, ancient captain's treasure, where they're looking for it's the clues of a poem left behind where they can plunder and then move along. As they wisely skirted around the large gaping hole dropping down to the seeming abyss in the middle of this cove, they found two caves, and with some clever maneuvering and interpretation from the poem, Ignis, flying up casting light, was able to shine upon a cave where they feel confident they should go in to pursue the treasure they seek. Max, wanting and needing to fish and pick up a fish, using his bait and lure, lured something a little bit bigger than what he was intending. Wanting a small fish, he actually lured a hammerhead shark towards his current location and 3 sahuagin currently in this vicinity. Having thrown their spears out to try to harpoon and yank our crew into the water, Buster, with his quick thinking and high initiative, was able to cast those spears, or rather javelins, back into the water with a cleverly timed tidal wave. And 2 of these sahuagin have been dealt with, while the third, badly damaged, has now swum 80 feet below the surface. Will our adventurers pursue after this sahuagin? Let's find out now on this week's episode of I Cast Fireball. So, Buster, you're first in initiative.
How far away is the fleeing sahuagin?
So he's 80 feet below, and he was about 10 feet from where you currently were at. So we'll say he is 90 feet away from you.
Okay, so when you cast Vortex Warp at a higher spell slot, the range of the spell increases by 30 feet. So if I cast it at 3rd level, it would be a 120-foot range. Would that be far enough?
That would absolutely be enough to grab the sahuagin.
That's amazing.
I'm just debating if I want to grab the sahuagin or the shark. I think the sahuagin. I will Vortex Warp the sahuagin out of the water. So I'm using a 3rd level spell slot. Let me just check that box. And I can transport him anywhere that I can see within range. Although I think it has to be on a surface. I don't think I can transport him into the air. Like the creature, target must succeed on a Constitution saving throw, DC 14.
Okay, here we go. Well, that's a 7.
All right. And it's a point of with a point that I can see. It has to be on a surface or in liquid, so it can't be like squeezed into something or dropped from a height. But I'm gonna dump it right outside the wrong cave entrance.
Sure, sounds good. So right outside the wrong cave entrance, so behind each of the 4 of you, essentially. Mm-hmm. As sahuagin is holding his javelin, like swimming with his back feet to try and like propel him and the shark forward, you vortex warp around him. And what does that look like, that vortex warp, Josh?
This is a spell I don't think I wrote any poems for. It's verbal and semantic, but I think, I begin to move my hands and speak some words. A line of text glows on my scarf, and I like to think it's almost like a tidal wave of space-time. So like it kind of almost creates a funnel, and he's sucked into one end and then spit out the other end.
Time is short, it's time to warp.
Time is short, it's time to warp.
Oh my gosh. Oh, wonderful. No, I could see the visual image of like a wormhole almost speak of. Like it's like between time and space. So like it's swimming and then all of a sudden behind you hear this, and like a slurping sound as the air rips open and the sahuagin is swimming through the air down and then face plants it just directly into the sand, carrying the momentum. Just bam, just gets a fistful of sand right in front of its mouth and eyes. Oh, well done on that. And that's your action.
And that's it. I'll just move to face it, I suppose.
Max, it is your turn. This sahuagin is 10 feet in front of you, prone on the ground in the sand. Definitely frazzled with what is happening and what is going on.
And then we've killed 2 others. There's only sharks now in the water, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Max will kind of look over at Buster and go like, do you want me to kill it?
I don't know.
Okay. I just didn't know if you placing him in front of that tunnel was like for a purposeful thing.
I just didn't want him to get anybody, and I don't know, maybe there was a monster in that tunnel that would grab him. As I was thinking.
Okay. Are you good with me shooting him?
Yeah, unless you want to talk to him. I just didn't want him to go warn other people that were
I
here.
mean, I can talk to him. I speak Aquan. Do we want to interrogate him? No, I'm just going to shoot him.
Fine by me.
Well, we still have the 2 sahuagin. Wait, how many? I can't remember exactly how many sahuagins and how many sharks had the fairy fire on them.
Yes, so this one has the fairy fire on them. And then 2 of the sharks down there have fairy fire as well.
Okay, so advantage on the shot against the sahuagin.
Would that, if I tried to grapple it to start trying to tie it up or something, would that give me advantage with its fairy fire?
Technically, it is an attack to grapple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yes.
Sure, let's do it. Max is gonna just kind of like aim at it and go, meh, and jump at it instead. And Max will try and grapple this thing.
All right, go and roll. We'll say in athletics with
Okay.
advantage then.
That is a 14.
Well, I got an 8. So grappled successfully.
Okay. And then, I mean, technically, if that's an attack, I have an extra attack. Can I use my extra attack to try and start getting rope out and tying him up?
Yeah, there's no other people coming to help the sahuagin, and you've already grappled it. So I'm pretty sure you just whipping out some rope and starting to tie it. I don't think that's going to be too difficult, especially knowing that Ignis and Ataraxia are going to go before the sahuagin can go. I think we're safe to say that we're out of combat here.
safe to say you got it.
And I think it's mechanically sound, because I'm pretty sure that if you do a grapple on a creature you already have grappled, then it gains the restrained condition. So
I think so. That's how I like to play it, at least. That makes most sense to me. So, yeah, this sahuagin is tied up. And Ignis and Ataraxia, you can determine what you'd like to do since you technically didn't do any initiative. But if you got nothing, then we can just go out of combat here, or we can just defer to whoever might have a plan.
I mean, I was all ready to go check out this glowing eye, and then these sahuagins showed up and ruined our day, so I'm not particularly invested in what's going on over here. I'm invested in Max, but I'm not invested in this sahuagin particularly.
Ignis is also not interested in the sahuagin because she was fine to let it go. This is the player versus character thing, because Ignis would probably just go over and stomp him in the face and kill him. But it seems like Jake wants to talk to him, so I feel like this is the fish he wanted to catch.
Hey,
So
I caught
Ignis
a fish.
is just
He
going
got
to...
a fish.
Ignis is going to walk away.
You got a fish. Hey, inspiration there, Jacob.
I caught a fish.
Yeah, Ataraxia and Ignis will head off to the side
Yep.
while Max and Buster play good constable, bad constable on the
Yes.
Hey, bringing it back.
Josh starts going, I'm not interested in it either.
I just got him. Listen, these sahuagin have a way of when we defeat them, more show up for some reason, and I didn't want this guy to go get more of them. That was my intuition, not so that we could have tea.
Not so we can have
Well, shoot, if Buster's not going to play good constable, bad constable, then I think Ataraxia will play good constable, bad constable.
Ignis will not play.
That's another lore. That's another universe. There's no constables in this one.
Yeah, there we go.
Max will actually, if it's okay, Max will actually call over to Ignis. Lieutenant.
She'll stop as she's walking toward the cavern and turn around toward him.
Come here.
She'll trudge over.
All right. And as Max kind of like holds, he'll like lift up the sahuagin like by the arms and almost like where its back is like, obviously it's tied up. So now it's like kind of almost suspended in the air while Max is like got his hands interlaced behind the sahuagin with the sahuagin's arms. And he'll go, all right, time to practice. Say hello in Aquin.
This is magnificent.
Amazing. Yeah.
Jake, you wanted to talk to the sahuagin, and I gave you an opportunity. Because Ignis, while Max is trying to be helpful, Ignis is incredibly insulted by the insinuation that she would need to practice or that she cares at all about this creature in front of her. And in her indoctrination, it is so imperative to stand your ground, and he decided to run away. So to Ignis, he is a coward and have forfeited his life. And so instead of saying anything, she just reaches out and breaks his neck while he's held back. Because he's restrained, right? Technically.
He is restrained. Yes. Yep. That is true. That is a fact. So as the sahuagin is neck jutted out, kind of like scrambling or muffled, like grunting, Ignis, you reach out, grab its neck by the throat, and break its neck.
I just turned to Buster and go, talk about good constable, bad constable.
I mean, that's not how I usually say hello.
I'm so glad about that.
Over the dead sahuagin's head that Max is now holding, she'll greet him in Aquin and then walk back to the cave.
Max will call back out to the lieutenant. Lieutenant?
She stops but won't turn around this time.
And Max will just toss the body to the side. And he'll just look at her and he'll just say, look at me.
Oh, what the heck? She'll turn and look at him.
And Max is just very conflicted because he's very conflicted. His face is like darting between different emotions. And he'll just say, that was my prisoner.
She'll shrug in response.
I didn't want you to kill it.
I'm sorry. I felt like the moment they threw those spears at us, we had a right to defend ourselves. And when he made the cowardly decision to try and run away, and then fate brought him back to us, I felt like his life was forfeit.
Ignis, not everyone believes the way you do.
Well, maybe they should.
I don't. So next time I have a prisoner, you can either help me or get out of my way, because I'm done accommodating your beliefs. And Max is like kind of welling with rage because he's tried to placate Ignis for a while, and he's very done with it. Because, by the way, they are beliefs. They're not facts. And he will walk.
He passes her toward the cave.
No, he's going to walk over to the sahuagin and search it if there's anything possibly valuable.
Ataraxia and Buster, you were looking toward the cave entrance here. This cave entrance definitely goes deeper than the moonlight is able to illuminate the back. And you can hear... Actually, you don't hear any echoes coming from this cave currently because you're not calling into it actively. But it's at this time that you hear the tense conversation between Ignis and Max finish up. And you look back, and Ignis, are you standing there still, or are you coming towards the cave as well, Ignis?
I feel like she has something else to say to Max, And so she'll wait while he's looting the body, while Buster and Ataraxia is checking out the mouth of the cave.
Great. So we'll come back to Ignis's when she's gonna what she's gonna say. But Ataraxia and Buster, what would you like to do with this cave? Are you gonna immediately venture forth? Is there anything you'd like to do, or are you content to wait for the whole council to come together?
Buster is going to clock this weird interaction that they're having. He's going to clock that conflict there, but then try and divert from it with Ataraxia and get kind of down on Ataraxia's level and be like, all right, Captain, adventure's begun. Treasure awaits. We know the right cave. What's the plan?
Yep, the left cave is the right cave. You haven't gained dark vision since the last time I asked you, have you?
Nope, but I am not afraid of dark spaces.
Cool. I cannot be afraid of dark spaces.
Facts.
Right, so we probably need a light. I mean, if I'm a pirate worth my salt, I'd booby trap the crap out of that cave.
Right? That's what I'm thinking. Like, I'm also wondering, like, what happens to someone who goes in the wrong cave? The right cave, which is the wrong cave.
Kind of what I was wondering to try and do with the sahuagin before Ignis and Max decided to kill it.
Yeah, I do. Do I have torches? I feel like no. I have a diplomat's pack. I don't have an adventurer's pack, so I don't think I actually have torches.
I have torches and light.
I have an adventurer's pack, I think.
I have a dungeoneering pack. I have torches.
Yeah, Buster, if you've got an adventurer's pack, then I think that should be good to go.
Yeah, I have a tinderbox and a torch.
Yeah, want to head on into this spooky cave?
I light it up and properly hold the torch back and above my head. Not like these silly folk that hold it in front of themselves and blind themselves to the dark. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So holding the torch properly, I will light the way forward.
Yeah, as we're entering into the cave, I will just kind of, in a manner of asking just like a very casual question, be like, man, if I wasn't around, would the three of you even be working together?
I think we would have started working together, and I don't think we would still be working together. I think, listen, I know you're young, but I actually think you're a pretty dang good captain.
Yeah, I think you're the first one who said that to me since I became the captain.
Really? I feel like everybody on the ship thinks you're great.
That's good to know. That's really good to know.
Hey, I have a question for you.
I've got an answer for you.
Does your lack of feeling, like, make it hard for you to figure out if you like somebody or not? If you think that you would enjoy them being around them? Or, like, does it obfuscate that? Or do you got a good sense that, like, I don't like this person, or I think I like this person?
Well, I can get a sense of, like, I know that Max and Ignis really do not like a lot of the stuff that each other does.
Yeah.
And, I mean, to kind of a lesser extent as well, you and Ignis and you and Max, there's a lot of tension going on, and, like, I can observe that, but I still think you're all pretty great in your own ways.
Yeah? You think if you weren't cursed, you think you would still like being the captain of the Seder Song?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, there's freedom, all kinds of freedom. That's really cool. If I were to ever, like, face up to the emotional weight of men living and dying at my command, that would be pretty intense.
I don't know. You know, you kind of got to dip your toes in it, and you know, you can. It's easier to get used to than you think, I think.
Well, sure can't dip my toes in anything because I don't got them.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
He's got hooves.
Oh my gosh. How rude.
I don't know. I don't mean to belittle your circumstances, but I just want you to know I do think you're a good captain, actually. And I even though I mentioned that you're young a lot, I do respect you, and I'm happy to follow you. And I think maybe you're onto something that the three of us probably would have either killed or run from each other within a week if it weren't for you kind of holding the captain's chair.
Well, glad to be some form of glue, I suppose.
Yeah, you have some clarity of perspective, I think, that the rest of us aren't really coming at situations with.
Thank you for being so open with your feelings.
Hey, that's what I'm here for, right?
And you are following Captain's orders.
Yeah, feeling it for you.
While this is happening, Max, you are done rummaging through. Nothing to note other than the javelin with the chain. You can take that off. It seems to be wrapped around their belt, so you can kind of like attach it to a belt, and the chain is loosely fit around it, but it mostly hangs down and has to either be coiled or dragged behind them at times. So they must have found some way to coil it quickly and ensure that it doesn't get tangled up in passing debris. So that is obviously a weapon you can procure and
Yeah, Max will put it kind of situate it into his pack that he has, and then take the chain part and kind of wrap it around his belt, almost like a lasso, to be able to possibly... Do they throw that with... I imagine they're not strong creatures. Do they throw that with strength or dexterity?
They do throw it with strength, so it is a strength because they have their own arms. Their own arms have to do it. But you can go ahead and write down on your character sheet, chained javelin, and it's got 20 feet of chain that could be used. And the javelin point is especially tipped to that when it's impacted, it does low damage, but it allows for a strength check to be pulled and for a creature to be pulled back to you. I believe it's 10 feet at a time. And they have to spend an action to remove the javelin itself because it digs in pretty deep, either into armor or flesh.
All right. Yeah, Max will stand up and...
Hearing the tinderbox behind her, and Ignis looks over her shoulders and watches as Ataraxia and Buster walk into the cave, seemingly without a care, and worried that it would be booby-trapped, and thinking they don't think that. Ignis will just spit at Max. You're a godless creature, and I feel sorry for you. And then she'll turn and she'll kind of jog off toward the cave, muttering, "Gods, they're gonna get themselves killed. What are they doing? I can't believe there's..." And just jogs.
I thought you said cowards run away.
Oh, snap.
Them some fighting words, and Ignis will stop.
We are going to have a murder here tonight, somebody.
And as she stops, Max will say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did reality not match what you thought?"
She'll march quickly right up to his face and get right, like, nose to muzzle. Max sees just this rage in her face, and then, using all of her willpower, she makes a decision to calm down and then takes one step back and tries to keep that solid composure. And it looks incredibly difficult for her, and also a little confusing, because in battle it doesn't seem like there's a reason to do that. So it's confusing why in a heated argument she would take a step back and try to recompose herself. With her eyes closed, just like deep breathing, trying to recompose herself.
Seeing that, Max won't say anything. He'll just kind of let her have that space to do what she's doing.
You have no idea what I've been through in my life. How dare you judge me for that? I don't judge you for your godless existence. Don't you dare judge me.
You just did. You shouted at me about it.
And she'll take that shaky breath in, trying really hard not to let that affect her, and failing just a little bit more.
What's that, Captain? What's that, Captain? What were you saying we should do? What were you saying the three of us should do, Captain Ataraxia? Buster says, just trying to get, butt into this spiraling situation.
I think the three of you should express your needs.
I thought you were saying that we should all gather up to head in to the tunnel, right?
Well,
right, Captain?
Shut up! She'll just shout across at Buster now. She just, loses all composure.
Buster's not stepping closer to this encounter, by the way. He's staying next to Ataraxia.
As this tense moment hangs in the air, the seemingly impossible friction between Ignis's beliefs grinding against Max's accommodations, but also Max's reality, it seems like, there is just this tense moment hanging in the air. Buster trying to break it, trying to move it forward. Buster, with what you've done pretty much most of your life, it's one reason why you've been brought along and quite honestly had so much success in all of the other boats and captains and crews that you've lived with, and probably one of the strongest reasons of why you're still alive amongst a cutthroat business, of being able to pierce through that tension, disperse, and move it along. And seeing this being such a moment that almost cannot be moved past just adds to the tension overall. And it really seems like Max and Ignis have to come to either an understanding or some sort of conclusion for the Captain's Council to be able to move forward.
Ataraxia is going to try something. Let's see if it does anything. Just kind of like trot to sort of a central-ish distance between Buster on one side, Ignis and Max on the other side. And he'll start by turning to Max and say, "Hey, Max, when was the last time somebody told you that they love you?"
Max will tilt his head. And he'll laugh, but it's not an awkward one. It's a genuine one. 6 years ago? Yes, 6 years ago.
And was somebody that you cared about?
Very, very much.
Turn to Buster, you're next. When was the last time somebody told you that they love you?
Oh, man. I don't know, honestly. It's been a long time. Since I was back home, probably.
Yeah? Somebody that you care about?
Yeah, I guess, to a degree.
And then finally turning with some trepidation to Ignis. How about you, Lieutenant?
Ignis closes her eyes, and as that emotion builds within her, from within she starts to glow, and all of a sudden 7 different images of Ignis manifest. One of them is Ignis standing in her shining bright red armor that you've seen her before when she merged with her armor. Another version is a dirty, ratty pirate, almost like what she's wearing, but it has been through some stuff. It is ripped, it is tarnished, it is damaged, and she has left all of that soldier behind and fully embraced being a pirate. One looks like she is at a market. Her hair is pulled back in a handkerchief, and she has an apron around and has some kind of maybe a ladle or a wooden spoon in her hand. She looks like she's been working in some kind of trade. On one arm, she has a wicker basket with some kind of vegetables in it. The next Ignis looks like Ignis, and she has this hard soldier look in her eyes, but her outfit is completely unrecognizable to you. It is just a leather vest over a white flowing top and leather breeches, and there are extra padding around the elbows, the hands, and the knees, almost like what you would expect a fighter to practice in, or her practice pads. Another one is Ignis standing in her armor, and that cut across her face is just gouging blood and is dripping down her face and onto her armor. And you can see it even in the echo is just bleeding, even though she's standing there with her eyes closed, just like the original Ignis is. Another one looks like it could be a scholar or professor. She has the small glasses on the bridge of her nose, and she has these deep blue robes in that have writing along the hem of it, and she's holding a book in one arm and a piece of chalk in another. And then the 7th Ignis is just in a plain white shirt, long sleeves, and plain brown breeches with her knee-high boots like her pirate. And her hair that normally has this very vibrant feeling to it just lays a little flatter. And she just doesn't seem as bright as Aasimar Ignis does. As if maybe this is like a human version of her. And they all stand there for a moment in that same tight, conflicted, painful feeling. And then all of a sudden, all of them fold back into her, and that light kind of explodes around her a little bit. And then she opens her eyes and looks up at Ataraxia. And with tears brimming the bottom of her eyes, Ataraxia, being within arm's reach of Ignis, will just reach out and put her hand on his head and push him to the side. You're just a child. What do you know? This is ridiculous.
Buster jumps in and immediately gets in front of Ataraxia. I think unexpectedly so.
Yeah, hey Buster, it's okay. It's okay. The lieutenant asked me a question and I have an answer. What I know is the last time somebody told me that they love me was when I said goodbye to my sister, Symponia, before I decided to head off on this quest to find our mom. And I haven't had a sister with me in all of that time. We'd been together for my entire life up to that point. And I haven't had a sister to say I love you too during all that time. So, Ignis, I love you. You've been doing a great job standing in for my sister Symponia. And I've never had brothers before, but Max and Buster, I love both of you. You're always here for me. You always listen to me. You always stand up for me. You support me. And I love all you guys. You're great.
Looking at where Ignis pushed him into the sand, she just looks down at him. She just says, angels cannot feel love. And then eyeing Buster, not that she was going to hurt the captain, but eyeing Buster, she'll then take her leave toward the cavern.
Buster is going to say something when she looks at him. Love's not a feeling.
It's a choice.
Then Ignis will look at Max. Angels can't choose love. With that same conviction that Shivers has.
Maxwell, not with the accusatory way he just was, but with a sincerity to it, will say, can't, or were taught not to.
And I get up right in front of Ignis and say, I know what it's like to not be able to feel something. There's a difference between can't and won't. And if you genuinely can't feel love, if you genuinely can't choose love, then hey, we got a similarity there. But I love you. And that's my choice.
And I don't know that I love you.
This conversation doesn't get out to the rest of the crew.
Absolutely.
Max nods.
Yes, please, God. I don't think we have to love each other. I don't even think we have to necessarily like each other. But we're on an adventure. We're going after gold in a cave from an old pirate. This is like the best that it gets. Like, there's something in there, and it's probably dangerous and might try to kill us. And if we're all bickering amongst ourselves for ridiculous things like a dead fish guy, how are we going to face what's in there? We have a great captain. We've got, what'd you say you were? An angel of some kind? That's crazy. And you're super strong. Max, terrify me most of the time, but I'm so glad you're on our side. I can do cool magic stuff and sometimes see the future. And the four of us, listen, if we're not trying to kill each other, there's so much cool stuff we could all do. Is it okay that we just have the adventure?
Ignis will reach down and pick up the torch that I assume Buster dropped in his
Probably.
instinct to leap forward to Ataraxia's defense, and the flame has been snuffed out by the sand. As she picks it up, she'll cast light on it and hand it back to Buster as a peace offering of, I'm going to accept your bid for an adventure, even though the feelings are not resolved. But over her shoulder then, as she hands it to Buster, she will look back at Max and repeat, angels cannot feel love.
Ignis. And Max is kind of calming himself down too.
Yeah, like Ataraxia had taken a big ol' leg backwards, about to step forward, and as soon as Max says Ignis, he just pauses and reverse frame by frame back to his original position.
We all get to choose our own path. But if we're choosing to do it together on this adventure, as he looks at Buster, we have to respect each other's choices. And if those choices disagree, we have to resolve it instead of choosing that ours is better. That's what a council does. We counsel. That's all I'm asking.
Ignis is holding Max's gaze, and you can tell that she heard all of those words, but she does not believe them. But she's given up the fight to respond. And so she'll just look back at Buster and gesture toward the cave since he has the light.
All right. Captain, what do you say?
We got light in the front, and go on ahead. Let's get into this cave.
Led by Buster's love for adventure. Or gold? Adventure. Buster leading the way with Ataraxia close behind. We enter into this cave. This cave that is lit up by the light on the torch here. Now, you're looking for traps.
Yes.
So, who is actively doing that? It seems Buster would probably need to, Ataraxia as well, being the front two there.
Well, my investigation is terrible, so I'm going to definitely inspire.
My investigation is better, and I have a passive investigation because I'm observant.
Yeah, maybe actually I let Buster
I have
and
a passive
Ignis,
investigation as well.
Yeah, I let Buster and Ignis go in first, and I actually kind of hold back with Max for just a moment. I'm like, she'll come around eventually.
I hope so.
So am I rolling or are we going passive?
Okay, never mind.
We're going to roll. Okay, we're going to roll here.
Stop talking to the captain.
Sorry for interrupting.
That's what Max. I can just see the captain says that, and as Max is responding, Buster just walks by. So we're going passive or we're going active? What are we doing?
Trying to have a moment here.
And Max is like, yes.
I hope so. I realize I've had my own faults in practicing that belief, in respecting another choice. But recent events, and he'll kind of press his hand against where the cards used to be, have made me realize that I need help. Each one of us needs help.
Dude, so true. I am so glad that you've caught on to that. And now we can help each other.
Yes, adventure. Sorry.
Let's go get rich. And
Buster, Ignis, go and roll investigation.
I'm not going to roll. I'm going to use my last div
Nice.
and give myself an 18 altogether.
No, 19.
Ooh, 18 and a 19.
Look at us out in front.
A narrow earthen opening ascends into the cliff above. The cave mouth is a little tight, meaning it's a tight fit behind the screening vines and roots, but it looks accessible with a little effort as each of you push forward. You have to crawl through this opening. It's a bit tight to try and get up there, but once you get through the initial pass here, you're able to stand up and walk without issue. And the tunnel climbs to a point just below the island's surface, actually. So it ascends up and up and up and up. And as your torchlight glitters off the walls of dirt and rock, you actually can see that the light can go up through the floor above you, which would lead to the surface of the island itself. There appears to be a gargantuan tree that's growing down into this rocky soil, with its root system blocking any further progress ahead, however. So you are seemingly blocked for the time being. The fissures and crevices in the bark of the tree's trunk, just visible at the roof of the tunnel through the light of the torch, vaguely resemble a wrinkled, humid visage with a craggy crown upon its brow. while the spread of roots below seems like the hoary growth of an ancient beard.
The old king's hoard.
So where is it?
Do we have to wait until dawn before we get the treasure?
No, I
You
don't
don't
think so.
But the roots are all that seem to be immediately visible.
Does it look like the dude is made of wood, or that it's a corpse like amidst the roots of a tree?
It looks like it's made of wood. Doesn't look like it's an actual corpse above there. Now, the ground around here is a rocky soil beneath your feet, which is not uncommon for this type of soil to be used to cover treasure.
Is it possible? This is crazy. Is there any chance that they would have planted a tree with the intent of it over a long time growing to have its roots cover over a hoard of gold?
Hey, that's certainly possible.
I don't even know how you would plan that. I don't know, and I don't know.
Maybe they had some druids with them or something, did some plant shaping. Are we going to dig through the roots? And I'll kind of start moving forward eagerly. Is this place trapped?
Yes.
With your investigation checks, there are no traps that you have been able to glean, and so you feel sufficiently
magic
safe.
traps?
There's no writing or script or anything.
I just wanted to make sure I got the visual right. We walk into the cave, we're in there, and it's just this tree with a great root system, and again, hanging the branches or the leaves of it are hanging like
Yeah, so it appears to be like where you are, the roots are down, seemingly to be a beard-like structure.
Okay. Like a big face.
Yeah, so I mean, you're still below ground, but you're close to the surface, and above you can see the surface 10 feet above you, and looking up through kind of like some slits and some cracks, you can see a tree up there, but the roots have spilled down into this chamber that you currently are at, and the roots are actually trying to sink into like this gravelly bedrock that you currently are standing on. It's kind of loose, what you're standing on in the middle of this chamber here. It looks like it could be moved fairly easily without with maybe a shovel or something like that.
Buster, you got locate loot prepped?
Let me see here.
It should always be prepped for Buster.
I
don't.
I tried to prep more combat spells.
Shackles!
You know what, though? I do have this, and he'll put his hand on the roots and cast Identify.
Okay.
Okay.
So you learn whether any spells are affecting the item, or if it's a creature, the spells affecting it that created it.
Yeah, go ahead and roll an Arcana check with this one.
Okay. 12.
12. As you put your hand on this root, it identifies it as a non-magical tree. But looking with your divination background, you try to say, well, what can I learn from this? And you go back and you go back, and you can see that these roots weren't always here, but these roots eventually grew down into this soil here, and that it seemed to come from a fairly normal tree, and that there doesn't appear to be any magical assistance to this, and it came to this portion almost like it was reaching towards the ground, the gravel around your feet, and through these flashes of images, this gravel and this bedrock seems to have been here, but throughout time, when the tree was first incepted, before Captain Wolf got here, it doesn't look like the bedrock or this loosey gravel was on the ground at all. And it just keeps reaching and reaching and reaching down and growing and just spilling into this chamber before you're pulled out of your vision. Jacob.
Surreal, another technical thing. Does it look like the roots are just right onto the wall of this cave, or is there something? Can it be seen if there's some space behind it?
Yeah, you could try to look as you try to push aside these roots and feel behind. You actually feel all the way through, and you just feel solid wall.
Okay. Gotcha. That's my question.
We could try and climb the vines.
Yeah, I can do that because I'm very good at climbing.
I think it's either up or down. Maybe we have somebody climb and somebody dig?
Sure. My climbing speed equals my walking speed, so I can go up there quick.
I could dig. I'm used to burrowing when I was a kid.
Okay. So we have Max climbing.
Oh, Max will actually, even with help, he will take out from the back of his backpack the spear and start using it almost as a repeller and tie the chain to him so it can be a support in case he falls.
Nice. There you go. Okay. Go ahead and roll a athletics check to climb then. And Buster, you're going to be digging, eh?
And I'll say, by craft command, and he wraps his hand around the top of his staff and then kind of flings it like he's flinging something, and a magical hand appears and he says, by craft command, a summoned hand. And it'll start picking up rocks with him as he starts to move things.
Yeah, it starts to scoop up this gravel, this dirt, and sort of like digging in and then just putting it off the pile. And it's going to take you a bit to go this route, of course. Maybe you're assisting with like some other hands or your feet. Maybe you have like a small trowel that you can help start.
Yeah, that quarterstaff
moving as well.
multifunctional. I could start.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I see like bits of rubble moving by themselves, I'm like, hey, Steve, good to not see you again.
That's not Steve. That's just my mage hand. That's just a magic hand.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I'm trying to save some spells at least.
Gotcha.
Max, what was your athletics check?
Max is going to use his inspiration because I didn't like the roll for it. And that's not much better, but it's better. That's going to be an 11.
11. Well, it's above a 10.
Hey.
And so you start climbing this tree. This is a massive tree. It's not like an old great tree, shall we say, like from the big trees you would see in Tarzan that are like multi-canopied and stuff. But this is pretty big. And you start climbing using your claws. Do you have a climb speed, actually?
He does.
My climbing speed, because of me being a ranger and I am a deft explorer, my climbing speed equals my walking speed.
You
So it's
actually
35.
don't need to roll athletics then, because you have a climb speed.
Wait, I used inspiration.
Give that inspiration back to yourself. Hey, I'm giving you inspiration for using inspiration.
Thomas is like, I'm
using it,
taking
use
it
it back.
away. I'm going to take it away.
Just checking that you're going to use it. No, so your climbing speed means that you actually don't need to roll an athletics. Just like in an extended climb, you would need that. But you climb, bam, javelin right in the tree bark. Climb, bam, javelin. And you see the half moon glowing across the landscape. You're left to yourself, thankfully, to collect your thoughts and really start to think things through. It's gonna take you a few minutes to climb up to a ideal vantage point here, and I just want to know what Max is thinking after this tense encounter, and like what's like his cooldown from this whole situation, and what is he not able to let go of?
Max is thinking to himself that we are a pirate crew that is led by a child who is probably the least childlike person in the captain's council. We have a hothead. We have a shiny object pursuer. And we have and Max is almost, I mean, he is. He's judging, obviously he's judging everybody with this. He also judges with himself. A simple-minded creature who struggles with the complexities of life. And he's just thinking about that and thinking about how do you get a group of such stubborn minds to finally merge. Again, not to have to agree on everything, but have to respect everyone's opinions and validations, and how that's very not like any pirate crew that is, but it's the only way we can function. And he's just contemplating that. How can we respect each other? including himself. Like in terms of like him respecting the others too, which he's worked on. He's felt like, again, he didn't respect Buster, but there was that whole apology, and so he feels like he's trying to mend the relationship there. And yeah, just a lot of how to do that. And there's not an answer, obviously, that comes to him, but it's the thought.
So with an unanswered question of how to respect each other in the crew, you climb this tree, bathed in the moonlight, hearing the sounds of the forest around you, these spider monkeys speaking and jittering to themselves, with the occasional insects buzzing around and crickets chirping in the night. You climb and climb the 100 feet to the top of the canopy here of the island, really, really high up, right where these vines are stretching across from one end of the island or the cove to the other. You take a breath as you take in the landscape, seeing quite far, and it's a bit relaxing to see that. And at the same time, Buster, you're able to dig and dig and dig until you hear of wood.
Oh, hey.
And you start to move it across and ask for help and assistance. You move away the gravel, you move away the dirt, and you get an outline of a wooden plank. No, it's a wooden board that has been put over something.
Okay.
And you stamp on it. Your foot goes through it. You stay where you are, but your foot goes through it, and you can hear an echo down below as the wood falls. A splash below.
Okay. I found something.
And as each of you look at each other, hearing the splash, seeing Buster's foot go through, and with Max still up above, but probably soon to return, you realize this treasure hunt has only just begun. And that is where we're going to end this week's episode of I Cast Fireball.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Ooh, baby.
Only
Here I
just
was-
begun.
Here I was thinking so simply minded that maybe it was just going to be a buried treasure chest, like all pirate stuff.
That's legitimately what I thought. Yeah, and then it's a plank.
I know. I was like, we found it.
Ooh, boy. Well, a fun episode. Exploring impossible questions at times and working through it. I have to say I loved when Ataraxia compared himself to Ignis, being like, if you really can't fill up, I cannot fill up. So if you really can't,
I'm the same.
Look, we're the same.
Yeah.
We have a similarity, and I have to be like, oh my gosh, how did Ignis take that? That was
I love what happened character-wise.
that's some deep implication at that point.
So messed up.
Like,
We're such a hot mess of a crew. I love it.
Yeah, we are.
And I was like, I need to do
Brilliant.
something physical to Ataraxia because I need a response
I love
out of somebody.
I love Buster being like, all right, Ataraxia, do your thing. Get everybody to be okay. And then he's like, have you guys ever been loved? And Buster's like, come on, man. Oh, no.
not this thing.
Nothing went the way anybody thought it was going to go. And it was so wonderful. I loved all of it. Yeah. Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
It's fun to play with people
fun.
you trust to
Right?
not take things personal and to be in the moment. And
So good.
Well, as always, Mickey, Jacob, Josh, Ned, thank you for playing. Listeners, thank you for following along for this seemingly complicated treasure hunt now that we have before us. What's going to lie next? We're going to find out on the next episode of iCast Fireball. If you want to shoot us a message, you can shoot us an email at icastfireball2020@gmail.com. You can go on our social medias, Instagram and Facebook at icastfireball20. And of course, we have our Patreon exclusive Discord, which you can join at patreon.com/icastfireball20 and then signing up for a Discord account. And you can interact with so many lovely people on there, not only with weekly recaps of episodes in our spoiler chat, but also conspiracies about what each of Ignis's echoes actually mean. And what are the answers to this impossible question that is presented here? And how can we respect each other? Other things like that. There's also a thread in there where literally everybody talks except for me. I do not have access to that thread either. So who knows what's in there? Everybody else does, but I don't. So maybe you want to go check and see what that is right there. But go see what is available for you to be able to participate, because we would love to interact with you. Speaking of interacting, you should go take a listen to Improv Tabletop. They have some really, really fun campaigns going on right now. I believe Jumanji Falls is over or almost over at this point. With not the last Fate Accelerated campaign, but certainly one of the longest ones that we've had over there on Improv Tabletop. I would highly recommend you go take a look at all of their other stuff. They have 4 years worth of material for you to catch up on if you want to binge some of their campaigns. Don't forget to leave them a 5-star review. Lastly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends and fellow wacky adventurers. But until next time, I'm Thomas, your DM, and around the table we have
Lieutenant Ignis Halakon,
Maximus Shans,
Ataraxia Kalian.
And Buster Bilgewater.
Let's keep that fire going, everybody, and we'll see you all next time.